They say in the village that the richest man is never the one with the loudest drum. His wealth hides in silence, his treasures buried in plain sight. But why? Why would a man with gold in his barn eat porridge like a poor farmer? Why would a woman with jewels on her neck cover them with rags? My children, gather close. Today, I will tell you the story of why rich people pretend to be poor. Long ago, in the red-soiled land of Ogbodo, there was a village famous for two things: its yam festivals and its endless gossip. The people of Ogbodo loved to talk. If someone bought a goat, the whole village knew before the goat even bleated. If someone cooked rice instead of cassava, tongues wagged until the smoke of their cooking disappeared into the sky. In this village lived two men, Okeke, the wealthiest farmer in the land, and Ifoni, a loud and boastful hunter. Okeke was rich beyond measure. His barns overflowed with yam. His goats, sheep, and cattle covered the fields like clouds. But if you met him on the road, you would think he owned nothing. His wrapper was faded, his slippers were torn, and he ate roasted maize by the roadside like any ordinary man. Ifoni, on the other hand, had only 2 hunting traps and 1 old spear. But he dressed in leopard skins, tied feathers to his head, and shouted his own praises as he walked. Here comes Ifoni the mighty, slayer of lions, king of the forest. The villagers laughed behind his back, but they also feared his pride. One year, the king of Ogbodo announced the great New Yam festival. It was the time when every family would bring out their harvest, pound yam, and eat until their bellies could hold no more. On that day, Ifoni arrived with a great parade. He borrowed a drum, tied cowrie shells around his ankles, and carried a pot of soup so small that even a lizard would remain hungry. But he made noise, oh, he made noise. Okeke came quietly. He brought nothing but an old calabash, covered with a rag. People laughed. Is this the richest farmer? He looks poorer than a beggar. When the time came to eat, the women uncovered the pots. Ifoni's tiny soup dried up like morning dew. But when Okeke opened his calabash, behold, inside was enough steaming pounded yam and spicy vegetable soup to feed not just his family, but half the village. He shared it freely, laughing as everyone ate. The villagers wondered, why does the rich man hide his wealth until the right time? Now, my children, listen carefully. This is the heart of the story. One moonless night, as Okeke returned from his farm, he heard whispers in the forest. It was the voices of the Ohomiwo, the greedy spirits. These spirits hated wealthy men who showed off their riches. They would crawl into their barns at night and carry away yams, goats, and even gold, leaving the boastful man with nothing. Okeke hid behind a tree and listened. The spirits sang. We take from the proud. We spare the humble. The rich who pretend. We cannot find. From that day, Okeke decided never to flaunt his riches. He wore ragged clothes, ate plain food in public, and gave quietly to those in need. By doing so, he kept the spirits away and his wealth safe. Another reason, my children, is envy. In Ogbodo, envy was sharper than a hunter's spear. If you wore fine clothes every day, neighbors would say, he thinks he is better than us. If you ate meat while they chewed dry cassava, they would plot against you. Okeke had seen what envy could do. One wealthy man, Obi, once boasted about his gold bracelets. Within a year, thieves robbed him, friends abandoned him, and his wealth disappeared. So Okeke learned a lesson: a man who hides his riches keeps enemies confused. A man who boasts feeds his enemies with ideas. One year, famine struck Ogbodo. The rains refused to fall, the ground cracked, and yams withered. People groaned with hunger. Ifoni, the boastful hunter, had nothing. His traps were empty, his pot was dry. He had spent his days boasting instead of storing food. The villagers cried to him, "You who said you were the king of the forest, where is your meat? Where is your wealth?" He bowed his head in shame. But Okeke quietly opened his bangs. Yam after yam rolled out like blessings from heaven. He shared them, not proudly, but with kindness. The village survived because of his hidden riches. That night, the elders gathered. They declared, "Let the young ones learn. The rich man who pretends to be poor is like the wise tortoise who hides its head in its shell. He is safe, he is wise, he is generous at the right time." From that day, parents told their children, "Do not laugh at the man in torn clothes, you may be laughing at the richest man in the land. Do not boast of the little you have, for envy and spirits are always listening." And so, in African villages to this day, many who are rich pretend to be poor. They eat with the common people, they wear simple wrappers, and they smile quietly. For they know that pride brings thieves, but humility keeps blessings.